Okay, so chapter 1 is actually a little bit tricky for me to set up because it's all review, and the amount of material that's being reviewed in this first chapter is immense. It would be like the equivalent of entire courses being put into each of these sections. So like, when you talk about lines and solving equations and functions, I mean, that's just, it would be dozens and dozens of hours of video to go through and remember how to do all that stuff. Some of it you remember, some of it you don't. So I think it's probably preferable not to post 20 hours worth of video to each of these sections because that's probably not going to help. What I would recommend is that what you should do is go in, read the material for these sections, and hopefully it makes sense to you, and hopefully you can follow along and kind of remind yourself. It's reasonable if you're a little bit rusty on this stuff, if you haven't done it for a while, but reading through this hopefully will remind you how to do a lot of these things. And then the next time we meet, if you have questions, we can definitely look at those questions. Or if there's a lot of interest, we can maybe open the meeting early so that people have plenty of time to ask questions, or we can maybe schedule another time where we can meet and I can answer questions for people. But I don't think it makes sense for me to just put up, it would be like putting up the equivalent of all the videos from an Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and College Algebra class all into this one module. I think that's overdoing it and isn't really going to help students. If I put up, you go into one section and you have 20 hours worth of video, it's probably not going to be helpful to you. So we should probably try to be a little bit more surgical here, where you go in and then you come to me with the questions that you need, and we'll try to answer those in a way that the whole class can benefit from. So that's what I would recommend. Once we hit the new chapters where we're learning calculus, there will be a lot more videos that are specific to that kind of a section. So chapter 1 will be a little bit challenging in that we're covering a lot of material in each section. The good news is hopefully you've already learned it. That's the idea behind prerequisite material, is that you already know this stuff, and yeah, you might have forgotten a few details here and there, but if you learned it the first time, it should come back pretty quickly when you're doing the answers on the homework and you start to go, oh, that's right. That's how you find the equation of a line through 2 points and stuff like that. But we can definitely address these things. I've gotten a couple emails from people wanting to know about graphing. There is a website called Desmos, which is really, really handy. They do really detailed, very nice looking graphs. It doesn't have all the functionality of a TI-84, but it can be helpful to get a graph going. So we can make sure that we're taking the time to answer the specific questions that are being asked. But in some sense, there's no way that we could just look at videos or do a review for everything, because it's literally 3 courses of material jammed into one chapter. So that's kind of the challenge of the first chapter that we're going through. Luckily, it's prerequisite material, so hopefully it comes back pretty quickly for you. Okay, so let me know if you want classes fire up a little bit earlier next time, and we can see if we can do something about that.